Hi, I'm Frances Scimeca, and I am introducing Candles and Coffee this week. Excited about this and excited about this topic. So, Michael has all these concepts, and one of them that really hits home for me is archetypes. And it's amazing because you can take your day-to-day, say, little stressors, and you can, have a way step by step to get through them. And that's with his archetype process. And you're going to learn that in this video. So basically, let's get started. I think you're going to love it.
Hello, you beautiful people. Dr. Michael here, and today I'm talking once again to the lovely Mrs. Frances. Hello, beautiful.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Happy Friday.
No kidding, right? So Frances told me that we were going to record last week, but your hair wasn't done. And
Right.
Now your hair is done.
Yeah.
And it looks amazing.
Thank you.
Do you want to tell us about this dress? Because I know where it came from.
Yes, it came from Options, and we were together, and you picked it out, and I was like, I don't know, we'll see. And I tried it on, and it fit like a glove, and it was amazing. So you bought it for me.
I did.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
I love it. I don't know if you can see it.
Go ahead, try it. Yeah, well, you can.
You can see a little bit of it.
Oh, it's a shame,
Yeah.
but it looks even better because you got the hourglass shape. Do you want to stand up and we'll just see your hourglass shape?
There's a microphone.
Oh, that's okay. Just don't hit the microphone.
Well,
Just stand up and
That's
see.
kind of hard to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can't stand up straight.
I can't stand up straight.
Oh,
I've got
okay.
this
Never mind.
phallic symbol.
People probably think, people have no idea how you and I are perfect for each other. It is pretty incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, it's
Yeah.
right there.
In your face.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are we doing today? I mean, do you want to...
So I think it's a great idea that you mentioned like a while ago, I would say like several months ago, about archetypes.
Oh,
And
okay.
I don't think a lot of people understand them. It would be great to have a discussion around those so more people understand what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And just like you just let it be, 100% organic.
Wow.
That you
Well, it's good.
tell me about archetypes and everything that you know about archetypes and how you use them in your practice.
Okay,
How about
that's
that?
pretty friggin' amazing.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. Okay, well, first off, I use them very creatively. Okay, so the way I look at archetypes is that they're just names. Actually, I call them placeholders for energy. Okay, so every brain state you can name. So if you're like Pissy Paula, you can name that, and you know when you're in a Pissy Paula kind of place. And the brain is wired in a specific way. The cortical map is wired in such a way. So Pissy Paula ends up becoming a version of you. And then you know which version of you is running the show. We call it hijack. Hijack. Which version is hijacking you? And it could be Pissy Paula. And a lot of times, if you can assess and address whatever brain state you're in, instead of just like if you can't love the state that you're in right now, if you can't be with the state you love the state you're in, like love the one you're with. And if you can learn how to assess and address your brain states, and you become really good at naming them, like literally to the point of retrieval, like you name them so well, then they become like tools in a toolbox. And that's really the whole basis of the human toolbox, is to help people have mastery around archetypes, around brain states, and being able to actively command the brain to rewire because you're summoning a certain archetype. And I use the name archetype because that means you can name the archetype. Each brain state, each cortical map has a name. And this allows you to be more masterful because you can call on versions of you and then see how successful you are at calling that version up. Maybe you're very successful, maybe you're not so successful, but either way, it's nice to try to go, who am I going to call upon, or who am I going to command, or who am I going to ask to take over Does that help a little bit, or is that?
Absolutely. When you say you can call upon them, they become, and if you've practiced this with your clients or the people that you're working with that want to work with archetypes,
Beautiful.
that you can call on them, practice while you're practicing them, those can be sources of support.
Exactly.
So it just kind of all connects.
Right.
But I think one of the things too would be good if you explained, like, how do you present that to your clients or who wants to work with archetypes? How do you start at the very beginning, and how do you get there?
Okay, well, I'll tell you right now, most people, when they try to wiggle their way out of a situation they're in or make things better, they try to do it as them. And that makes it so much harder. So I have this saying, like, what is you? How is who? And so if you really want to figure out how you're going to do something, the first thing you want to do is not do it as you, because you were the one that manifested that which you're trying to get away from or improve. So when you try to think of what can I do, what can I do, what can I do, you're asking current you to do it. Mm-hmm. If you say, how can I do this? Oh, now we're talking about process and the way you do it. And this is where archetypes are the absolute best way to summon a more efficient or better suited version of yourself. And that's the how. And the how is who. And so a lot of people come to me and they're being quote unquote true to themselves, but that actually hurts their ability to express plasticity. And that's what archetypes are, by the way. The more archetypes you have and the more you play with them, the more of a greater range of neuroplasticity you have. And just like you would go for a hammer when you have a nail, every job has a certain time when it's necessary. And brain states can really help you. So if you call up a certain archetype, it not only holds a certain standard, but then you actually discover how that archetype does it. Like we talk about mindset. Mindset's probably the biggest thing in my practice. It is. And it will never stop. It's hot. It's never going to go away. I do how many of these mindset resets, right? Mm-hmm. They're huge. They're huge. But now this is so fun about mindset. It's true. When you get your mindset right, you discover the rest. So when you call on the archetype and say, I'm going to channel my inner electrician. I'm not going to look at it as Michael Scimeca anymore. I'm going to look at it as I'm the professional electrician. Now you start seeing how electricians do it because you're calling on that archetype, which holds a higher standard. And so that's a form of mindset. So if you get your mindset right, mm-hmm. then you'll discover the rest. So once you're playing, like it's role playing, once you're in that archetype and you're really putting that archetype on, like I tell people all the time, when you pray to God, listen for his answer. And then when you're listening to his answer, make sure God's saying something like, oh, my precious, precious Francis, you're one of my best creative beings. Thank you. All I could have ever wanted for you is to come to me. Now, if God's not saying that and you're praying to God and you're hearing something else back, you're not tuned into God. You're tuned into a different archetype. You're not tuned into what I would call the wisdom source or life's intelligence. Or if there was a God, how would God talk to you? Does God love you? Is God going to first acknowledge you, or is God going to say the same things that you would say? After you pray to God, listen to God's voice, not your own. And that's an archetype too. To choose to listen to God, you could be saying, well, I'm listening to the God within. Go ahead.
Okay. Good. No, I'm listening.
Oh, I thought you had another question.
I do have a follow-up question.
But I can read your face, so I'm going to stop short. I want your follow-up question right now.
Stop short. Yeah. But you can tell that's the face that I use for everybody when he goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. They know. I think this is important. So to take a step back, so to go back when you're working with clients on archetypes and they're saying, I want to play around with them. Okay, there's a ton of them. Do you narrow it down and you pick, okay, today we're going to pick out 3 archetypes?
I do.
Or simplify it for me so we can understand. Do you pick out 3 or 5 or a bunch? Because you have to practice them. How many do you pick out?
Right.
Where do you get that focus for? They're probably dealing with things. So how do you pick the archetypes? Well,
again, same thing. So what happens is I do a process called assess and address. You might know it. So it's assess and address and educate. So I'll assess a situation, mm-hmm. then I'll address it, and then I'll educate them on what I'm doing and why I did it. And so when I see what's going on, I'm looking for what's the archetype that's going to best 1,000% knock it out of the park for them, because I don't want them to try to do it as them. It's going to be harder and more difficult, and quite frankly, they'll suck at it. But if they're actually now in the inquiry right? You know how much you love that.
My favorite word.
I know you. If they're in the consideration, are you willing to consider the possibility? It's true. Be considerate and consider it. Yeah. So if they're doing that, then they're going to have a much better chance of functioning at a much higher level. They're probably going to be much more successful. And honestly, with the track record that I have, and people are going, oh my God, I can't believe how my life has changed in such a short period of time. And, if I heard that once or twice, I probably wouldn't be so passionate. But I mean, I've been hearing that, and you hear it. How many people come to you and say, your husband's amazing, right? Yes. And it's like, am I really that amazing? Or is this work amazing and I'm serving the work? Because actually what I did was created all this work because I wanted to create something that was greater than me. That's an archetype. Yeah. And now I'm serving the work rather than serving me. And that's when we say the work does the work. And that's why you assess and address. And so if I would assess a situation like when you went through a challenge that you went, right? What did I keep saying over and over again? You're having one hell of a growth spurt. You're in the process of emerging. Yes. Now, when you first heard that, it didn't really mean anything to you. As a matter of fact, maybe you didn't even like it. Maybe you couldn't really agree with it. I didn't care. I was just planting seeds. I was coming up against the integrity of your process, but the strongest paradigm wins. And I know that to be true, that if you're having a challenge, that you're on the precipice of a growth spurt. So am I going to withhold that while the person I love is going through it, even though you pride yourself on that you're the wife and not a client? But when you went through it, you stopped being just a wife, and I started throwing out concepts your way. Consider them. And then the more that I threw them out, the more they had their way with you. And so it's a form of entrainment. And so that's exactly it. So I just assess and address it. I'm looking at what people are literally deficient in, and it's always, that's the key. Yeah. That really is the key. Even though I don't focus on deficiencies, I see what's up. Yeah. And what's up, like dry mouth, is based on a water deficiency. And so that's assessing and addressing. And so I'll assess what's going on, what's up for them. Like say it's fear, because that's a big one, or angst. That's another big one. And so I'll go, oh, you're having convoluted energy. Number one, I'm going to word it very, very supportively. So you're experiencing convoluted energy, and then I'll educate them. Well, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. How do you address convoluted energy? One moment at a time. Okay, well, let's start. What's the most important thing we can do to address convoluted energy really well? And I'll say, you don't have to meet chaos chaotically. As a matter of fact, the more chaotic it is, the more it's absolutely essential that you're not meeting it chaotically. So the more you can justify how bad things really are, and so you can justify your freaked outness. Well, if it really is that bad, you have more of a call to answer because it's that bad to chill out, to be cool. Go ahead.
So what's the archetype for that?
Well, I have used a lot of them. I have a certain client, Austin, and so we use Zen Lightman. We made that up for him. It was Zen Lightman. And so, it started out Breezy Lightman, and then we had the whole Lightman family, like Lightman. So it was, Breezy Lightman, then Zen Lightman. And so when he went into that archetype, he wasn't Austin anymore. He was Austin playing the part of Zen Lightman or Breezy Lightman, but he played it so well, he was actually Zen Lightman and Breezy Lightman. And so the brain is rewiring while he's doing that. And so now he's functioning better because he's not functioning in an autonomic way, which is reactive. If you let your animal brain do it, the animal brain can only show you what you're deficient in. It is the animal brain that actually gives you the dry mouth. You have to understand that happens autonomically. But to turn around and entertain the dry mouth or justify the dry mouth is just absolutely insane. So the higher brain is what has to actually be the solution to the lower brain. And that's what archetypes are. So you can see what state you're in. You can give that state a name. That's an archetype. Pissy Paula, right? And then maybe you can just then choose, right, to summon, recruit, call upon an archetype that is the antithesis to that. That's the absolute 100% cancels it out, And when you do that, and maybe you do it and it seems too philosophical or too idealized, or it doesn't seem practical, or it seems too woo-woo. That's fine. I get that's a reaction too, because I know this stuff works. I know it's not just woo-woo. I know it works. And if it works, it's not woo-woo. No. But these are just concepts.
It's a solution.
It's a solution. And, again, as you know, I'm so excited to do this because it works, because I get the positive reinforcement. My passion is that I tripped on this stuff. And I tripped on it because I'm a phenomenologist.
What about you're the mastermind?
Well, a mastermind.
A mastermind.
Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but there's your...
But I was made to do this, though. I know that. Yeah. I know this is like my purpose, to be able to assess and address and then educate. And that, to me, that's the most empowering thing I can do.
And in mastermind, your archetype?
It's
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it is. Okay. But, but we use that where we're collaborating, because we talk about like whenever two or one gather, it's like I love us.
Yeah.
We are so much better together than we are apart.
One brain is better than two.
Yeah, right. If I'm alone,
2 brains are better than one.
2 minutes are better than 1 minute.
Rewind that.
2 minutes in paradise is better than 1 minute in paradise, if you don't know that.
That's the blonde for you.
Oh, by the way, the hair looks great. Thank you, Gina, once again.
Yes.
May I share a little something about that dress that you were
Please.
thinking about wearing that at Anthony's wedding, and you just found out now you're not, which is why you decided to wear it today.
Yes,
Is that true?
yes.
So do you want to tell, or is that too much?
No. Oh, no. So we thought it was going to be more casual, the rehearsal dinner or the welcome dinner, but most people would know it as a rehearsal dinner. So this was more on the casual side, and they just decided to change it to cocktail, which is awesome. For me, because I have a lot of cocktail dresses. I absolutely love cocktail dresses, so I'm good.
Plus,
but I wanted to be able to wear this, and then I also will be able to wear this for work.
Right.
So it's going to get a lot of use. But this is the first day I've worn it, so I'm excited.
Plus, I get to dress up with,
Yes.
and then I get to wear like a suit, which is like a big time aphrodisiac for you. So that doesn't suck either.
Yes. I do like to dress up.
See, that's a form of an archetype.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah,
right.
cocktail attire.
Right. Exactly. And actually,
that would be
go there. Don't worry. Go there,
well,
baby. Go there.
Well, I don't know. I'm making up an archetype as we speak, and so if it's cocktail attire, I don't know. It's got cock in there. I don't know.
And tail.
It is natural.
I get a piece of tail.
It came to it naturally, so I don't know.
It's got cock in there. Let's put the cock. Let's put the cock in the tail. See, people who have no idea. People really think that I'm like I don't even know what the influencing you. Well, of course I am, but I mean,
No,
I don't think they realize.
That was not an influence. I was like that before.
I know, which is why we're married.
Yes, right.
Because it fit.
But let's go back real quickly before we go off on that.
Before it's too late, we already went off on it. But
so we'll just cut it right there.
That's good.
But when you're doing the Zenlightenment,
right, Lightman, light.
Okay, well I'm gonna let you say it. And so so what's the first step? Like when you realize, hey, I'm a little angst, I'm going to go into
Zenlightenment.
Thank you. And what's the first step?
Summon that because
I know, but like tell me how I would summon that. Am I going to
call on it? You just say Zenlightenment, just like Pokemon. With you're playing rock paper scissors, and you get to go second. That's what assess and address is. So rock paper scissors, right?
Yeah.
So if you see if it's the rock, then you go. Paper, I choose you. And
so you make in your mind, you say, okay, I choose you. So you're making a statement to yourself in your mind.
Right.
Would you add a breath in there?
Of course.
Is that
breath
a
is always
personal
good.
thing?
It is a personal thing, but for some people it's not necessary. Some people can summon effectively right away.
Okay.
Some people do need an intermediate step, like a disengage from where they are. Mm-hmm. That's where active stopping comes in. Okay. That's where you open, the whole thing.
We could do that too. We could talk about active stopping.
That's huge.
Yes, but like
that thing is just really taken off.
Which I love.
Right.
Yeah, because so to go back to that, so some people might need an extra step where some people they say that statement and they can immediately go into it. Or tell me some other steps.
Let me tell you about the intermediate step. So there are some times with the integrity of the person's process, that version of themselves, the hijack, the dominant version that's up, cannot access the ideal version. So I will say, what version can you access? Okay. What can you do? Once you go to that version usually has much easier access to the archetype.
Like a middle road.
Right, exactly. Okay. So that's where stopping comes in. That's really, really important. Spacia, for putting space. I love that name, Spacia.
Ooh, I like it too.
I do. I love it.
Yeah.
So you call up the Spacia archetype. And if I were to call it the Spacia archetype right now, Francis, it would be, I would immediately stop because I can access that pretty quickly.
Awesome.
And you
do well with that.
I fucking love it. I sound like I'm talking to Christina again. I fucking love you, man. I fucking love you.
Okay, let's don't go let's kind of keep this clean. We've already tapped into a little bit of R-rated.
A little bit?
Maybe.
I love it. So let me see if I get this right. You bring up cock and it's okay.
No, I'm saying we probably need to take it back a little bit.
Baby, you run the show. My going with itness is off the charts. You take it. By the way, I do appreciate, I feel like you're hosting and I love that. I really do. I love that. I love that.
Perfect.
So,
yeah. because I really don't know what I'm doing, but I'm very interested.
And
I
you don't
think
know
this
what
is
you
very, very helpful to break it down into these little baby steps for transitioning.
Right.
And
But you know what? If this stuff didn't work, right, we wouldn't have it. Like, you know what I'm saying? All these concepts, if they didn't work, they wouldn't be still, hovering, right here, just waiting, the human toolbox, just waiting for us to really dispense this in the right, get the right tool for the right person, for the right job, for the right time.
Yeah.
Once you do that, and why would I want to force feed a certain recipe for success? I'd rather assess and address an individual, find their sovereign, unique, right, recipe for success, meet that. Holy geez. And that's where the creativity comes from, because there are so many unique people that I'm constantly coming up with novel again. That's the end of Successions, right? Creativity, newness. It's the same thing. And because it's an act of kindness, right? It's an act of kindness to serve other people. I mean, it's the whole Succession 7. And that's where this whole body of work came from, is that I'm just so really, truly interested in finding solutions. I don't know if you know the US movement, the unifying solution-focused movement. And I think that's the best game in town, because we're better together.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We really are.
Yeah,
and people know that. And we're being encouraged.
Difference.
We're being encouraged right now to separate and divide and to fight and all that stuff. And it's like, so we have to be even more mindful and diligent and conscious about unifying and coming together and getting off of your own soapbox, no matter what side of the political party you're on. Get off the soapbox. Let's come together.
We'll be more successful with everybody behind you and teamwork.
We absolutely will. And look, maybe we can't change the world. Maybe this thing is rolling down the hill. Maybe, who knows? I really, really don't know. But we can change the quality of our life. Like, I can take care of my little corner of the world amazingly well while the world's ripping itself apart. You know what I'm saying? Really?
Yeah,
I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad.
It's great.
That really is good.
It's great.
Good. Sorry the world is ripping itself apart, but given that the world is ripping itself apart, we're doing pretty good.
Yes.
So,
okay, let's go back to, because I just want to, for me, it's like a visual.
Okay.
So we get into, let's go back to where you get a little angst and you can't
convoluted energy.
Yes, thank you.
Keep using the right terms, because you don't want to entertain that. I know, but I said that for you, and then I quickly called it convoluted energy, so you understood what we were talking about.
I can
dial
that up.
Right.
Okay, so convoluted energy.
Absolutely.
Okay, I can't, I'm just going to say me. Say I cannot get there, so I'm going to go to Scimeca. And correct me if I'm wrong. Okay,
baby, you just did that. People that are watching are probably going, holy shit, she listens.
Yeah,
No, really, that's beautiful.
So I'll go into Scimeca.
Absolutely.
So what does that look like?
Right.
So how do I get from Scimeca to how to get to that next bridge?
It's attention. That's where you summon what your intention is. It could be a mantra. You could say, think about whoever your highest level of functioning is. Like for me, I have an archetype called the nonlinear research scientist. I haven't given the nonlinear research scientist a name. I just use nonlinear research scientist. When I call up upon my nonlinear research scientist, I am significantly better assessing and addressing.
I know. I get that's a
like
that's
Amala.
A big one.
You know Amala.
Yes.
She uses leaf reader. Yeah. Leaf reader. So she, like the tea leaves. So she's sitting there that's what she does. And it makes her even more objective. So she's not blinded by her own whatever biases, corruptions, whatever. So she'll delegate to leaf reader. And now she's leaf reader. And so she's more objective. So her assessing and addressing is significantly better than if she was to assess and address as Amala. Okay, you get it?
Yeah.
Well, this is working with archetypes. I mean, I just want you to understand, they're so practical. It is
so you'll come up with that mantra,
right?
To access that bridge,
right, exactly.
And then usually after you do the mantra, then you're probably in a Zen place.
Depending on the mantra. Depending on the mantra, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Absolutely.
What would be the next step if the mantra hasn't? You still feel like, is there another access?
Well, depending on where they are.
You can repeat the mantra.
Exactly. Okay. That's why it's called mantra. Yeah. Mantra means repeat the intention.
Okay.
That's what a mantra is. It's a repeated intention. So that's why I use the word mantra. It's your mantra, meaning don't just say it once and go home. Right. That's your homework is to really use this mantra. I mean, I'll go into so much stuff.
I love it. I love the step by step because it's easy for people to go through steps. Because if that, if you're feeling that convoluted energy.
Look at you. You're really listening.
Ooh. that if you feel it, then you can access, okay, the active stopping, the spatia, and then maybe add. And I'm getting into it. Maybe add a breath or two. Good breath that.
That helps spatia.
Before.
That really helps.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
that's like you invite spatia in, and then you're setting up the room, showing spatia that you clean the room for her, and that you want her to come in. That's what the breath is. It's like, look, I'm summoning spatia, but I'm saying, spatia, come on over to my home. I got a place for you. And then she comes in the room, and it's messy and it's dirty, and there's no place for her to sit. So it's like, do you really mean you're inviting her? So you breathe. Look, spatia, I'm inviting you in.
Right.
And that's a really important intermediate step. And so when you get to that still place where you're really quiet, from that place, you can then state the intention. That's of your highest. What's going to support you functioning the highest? What's the call that you are to answer that caused you to summon spatia as an intermediate step? Okay. So realize that spatia was just an intermediate step. Go ahead.
Just so you know, and if anybody's going to practice this, it works. It's working like as we're talking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Just going through the processes of what we just did, that would be amazing.
Can I tell you what just happened?
Yeah.
You're actually really considering it. So you're not just listening with your mind, your body's getting it. Like you're having changes. Your brain's actually rewiring because no, really, because it worked. But I'm telling you, I'm watching it.
It's working.
Yeah, well, the camera's also working on you too. So they're actually opposing forces right now. But I love you.
I love you too, baby. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I mean, it's nice that I tell you that I love you, since I tell everybody that I love them, and since I'm married to you. It's probably a nice thing that I tell you how much I love you.
Isn't that nice?
Since I'm loving everyone.
Good. Awesome. Right. Perfect. Yes. You're sharing your kindness and your love. That's what we're supposed to do.
And I take it as far as I'm allowed to, don't I? Absolutely.
Yep. Absolutely. So, no, that's perfect. So, thank you for doing that. I think that was, again.
Okay, so I didn't know you were going to even do this. I knew we were recording.
We're letting it roll.
But I didn't know you were packing archetypes. That was really surprising. And then you're like.
You mentioned it like 3 months ago.
Oh, and so I'm supposed to know when you got, let's video that you're going to summon the archetype
that's the last
talk.
thing so that's in my brain.
Wow.
Like, that's the last thing we were like, what are we going to talk about? Then we started talking about, might be nice to break it down.
Let me do one more thing because this is me around archetypes, okay? The more you use them, the more you summon them, the more you become masterful with them. It's like playing the guitar. It's tools in a toolbox, but you have to learn how to work the tool. So the first time you summon an archetype, it might not feel right. Don't worry. It's just like playing the guitar for the first time. You may not even be able to move your fingers right, play a chord cleanly. But the more you practice it, it's an entrainment, and you condition yourself to this. And so all you have to do is be willing to consider the possibility that maybe these archetypes are going to change your life greater than you could have ever possibly ever imagined, because they do. I can tell you that from experience. Yeah. And so maybe you don't know. Maybe for you, you're running an independent case study. But for me, I've got a shit ton of quality of life surveys that have already proven, and I'm batting 100%. So, I mean, I'm not even batting 99%. I mean, everybody's life is significantly better or modestly better. It hasn't stayed the same, and it hasn't gotten worse. So that's significant. The people have spoke. I'm done with the research.
It's tried and true.
It's beyond tried and true, which is where the passion comes from, which is why, like, I don't know how many ticks I have left, but I want to get this out there. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been developing so long, right? That's how it's at this quality. I've been working on developing this stuff for so long. Now it's like, come on, and really come in with the right heart. Come in not to discredit me, because you'll be successful. I mean, great. It's a big friggin' deal. So you can have the intention to discredit me, and then you can be successful. Wow, congratulations. What a great use of your breath. I mean, what a waste of life.
Well, then they're not really participating.
But the idea, this is for people who are sincere. There are people that are really suffering, Francis, and really struggling in this world. And these people would love to know that there are solutions out there. But this information's not out there.
Yeah, they don't want it.
Yeah, but no, it's not that they don't want it. It's that
the powers to be.
I say that all the time. It's the powers to be. I feel like a conspiracy theorist when I say that. But look, even like I said with Christina, even if I'm wrong, oh well. I mean, so what? So if I'm going to be wrong, let me be wrong thinking that, because it's motivating me to get out there and really help more and more people. What if I'm absolutely insane that there are powers that be that are really trying to control the world and you know what I mean, and use fear to keep us like little piggies.
Why not? It works.
Well, but I'm just saying.
Like that.
But look, it doesn't even have to be true. This is the point.
The evil powers that are out there want it.
Well,
they want to rule by fear.
You know my book Archetypes, right?
Yeah,
where it's like it doesn't matter that you don't try to beat evil. That's the whole thing. And
right.
you look what's going on with politics. They both think they're on the side of good, and they're trying to beat, in the polls, and then in voting, it's winning. They're taking like politics and as if it's a real game for life and death, and they really believe they're good and it's good and evil. And it's like, man, it's fake. Yeah. It's wrestling, man. I'm not saying this stuff aren't happening, but it's wrestling. I mean, yes, there are people in the ring and they're fighting and they're looking like they hate each other, but they're in cahoots, man. The only people that are really getting rich right now, they're politicians and corporations and people in highest level. And it's like, go ahead, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, they're all a bunch of buttholes. Okay. So anyway, I want to go back just one step again.
Okay.
To, because that'll be helpful, just kind of go back to archetypes. When you got to the mantra portion, after you've gotten in the spacia and you've set up the room for spacia, give us an example of a mantra that you would use.
I choose to be more gentle with myself. I use that more. You have any idea how much traction I get from that one mantra?
Okay.
No, seriously, it's almost embarrassing how many years later, and that still comes in at number one, Like the Beatles had a hit with Hey Jude, and it was number one for like a year, and that was significant, like a year at number one. This thing, I choose to be more gentle with myself, is unfreaking believable. Most people are really so hard on themselves, they forget that they're in the middle of an infinite game. And that's what life is. There's no ceiling to quality of life improvements. Since we're playing an infinite game, and we are, and it's an infinite game with the field, with God, with consciousness, with the wisdom source. And since we are, and since there's no finish line, you can always improve. And it's an infinite game, so every point doesn't matter. It's just keep improving because it's infinite. You have to understand how amazing that is. So if you're being hard on yourself because you're not further along than you could be, you're ignoring the fact that you can always improve, so you can always get better. So even if you're that's what greaterness means, is great, greater, greatest, and then there's a greaterness. Because even if you're the greatest, you can still improve.
Absolutely.
But even if you suck, you can still improve. So you focus on greaterness because it's an infinite game. Successions. You keep on going. And see, that concept is so important. For people who are really being hard on themselves, they don't realize that this timeline that you're playing and say you could do it better, you can always do it better. That's a blessing. That's not a reason to curse yourself. The fact that you can always improve, that's a blessing. Don't use it as an excuse to beat yourself up. That's why being gentle with yourself is so very important, because I see it. I see it with addiction. I see people really struggling with addiction. Now, I'm not saying that it may save their lives if they would just quit doing what they say they would like to quit doing. Do a program, do 12-step, go into rehab, good luck. Maybe you stay clean, But if you don't, I'll be here to hold you and catch you, because I know how life happens in spite of our greatest intentions. And it happens through us. And that's a real hard thing. And now people would love to jump on that. You want to attack me? Oh my God. I mean, the standard conventional thinking, that's almost blasphemy. How dare you say that? It's like, wait a minute. People are really struggling. They're really struggling. I got to be gentle with them, because for them to get better, we need them to be functioning optimally. We don't need to be beating them up while they're already vulnerable, and absolutely being hard on themselves because life is happening through them in a way that they wished it wouldn't happen. Are they really deficient in having one more person just beat the living pants out of them? I'm like, hey, if it's happened for a reason. Now, the powers that be who really want to stifle me, they're going to hear that, they're going to salivate, and they go, oh, we got him. Oh, yeah, that's unacceptable. Can't fucking do that. They're drooling because I'm an easy catch, But I don't give a fuck about them. I care about the people that are suffering, who are really suffering, looking for a way out, and that I'm packing all this information, and all they have to do is be willing to consider the possibility that maybe this is going to change their life significantly. And it doesn't even have to. It can change it modestly, but you know what? Even modest improvements, you'll take it, right? They add up.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. We're going to actively stop.
I love you so much. All right, good. I love you, baby. Thank you.
Yes, I love you too. Thank you.
All right, talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Frances Scimeca, and welcome to Candles and Coffee. Today we're going to be talking about artifacts.
You said artifacts.
I did. It's going to help you through every day-to-day, step-by-step processes that you can. Ugh. I think the beginning one where I said this is stop, that's going to be good. And then you can piece that other one together. Hey, no, I'm messing all up. Just be able to, whatever. I feel gay. Don't use that. I don't even know what I'm fucking doing. Okay, it's just stupid. Now it's stupid. Wait, what? I want all this cut. Yes.